Hey everyone, I'm back with Voice from the Wilderness on Friday, July 9th, with Lad from the Woods. Anyway, sorry I was looking away. I was just like, what's moving there in the bush? Anyways, I was recording the first half of this Voice in the Wilderness on the phone, but the phone I ran out of space because I was talking for a fairly long time. We were discussing Hannah Kasparian and all that stuff, and this big war that's going on amongst them. And it's unfortunate because they're really not worth the time of day. But they slandered Aaron. Now the thing that's bugging me about this whole thing, I can't remember where we left off. But I got another thing is, how is it that Hannah Kasparian, whatever the fuck her name is, how is it that she can blackmail somebody, it gets out in the public, and she doesn't get investigated for that? Like, if I did that the way it was done to another person, and they picked up a phone and called the cops and said, hey, they'd be showing up at my fucking door. So is this that typical, well, I'm an elite so I don't get talked to, whatever? I don't know, man. But blackmail is blackmail, and I think the FBI or whatever people that do that shit down there, get on your fucking horse and talk to this broad, because she has no business blackmailing anybody. Like, she thinks she's some kind of gangster. Well, Hannah, you wouldn't last 3.5 milliseconds in my fucking world with your mouth. People go on about, women, this, that. You know what? If she said that to me and I was in public, I would have punched her in the fucking mouth. And that's the world that I come from. That's the real world, okay? These people, oh my God, he's talking about punching a man and he abused her. And you know what? That's not my problem. That's your fucking problem if you're too, have the vapors every time, drama queen, which is exactly what these two are on the Young Turks. And it just disgusts me. He gets away with it without any thing. And I mean, real news people like Julian Assange, he's dying. He's being tortured, for fuck's sakes, in a prison. And now it turns out the guy that was ratting him out is a fucking idiot himself. I don't mean Julian Assange is. I mean, the guy's an idiot and a liar and a fucking, wannabe gangster, whatever the fuck. And I'm going like, what happened to the Carl Bursteins and the Woodwards and so on, David Brinkley, and I could think of a thousand, Cronkite, all these people, plus the journalists. My mother was a journalist for the Livonia Observer in Michigan when I was very little. My uncle Ray worked at the Detroit Free Press. I think he worked at both. He ended up working at the Free Press and the News before he passed away. I have other family members that worked in stuff, and they took this shit very seriously. And man, if you even thought about saying something to them about, well, maybe you're not so journalists were a different breed back then. If you said that in public to each other, just as likely you'd get slapped, whatever, because, a journalist's reputation, that's all they've got, other than writing ability. Now, you imagine some cunt, and I'll say it, some cunt like Hannah Kasparian would say something like that to fucking, Hunter S. Thompson. Good luck with that one, Anna. It's too bad he's not alive. And I'm actually kind of glad he isn't alive to see the likes of you. Call yourself a journalist and whatever. But I'm sure Hunter would have said some nasty things to say, and he would have been, fuck you, woke, fuck you, this. And you know what? That's another thing. What is that Me Too bullshit? Okay? It's good for the women that have had it actually happen, but now you're weaponizing it? Nah, that ain't gonna fucking happen. So that's where people like me that got a loud mouth, not afraid to say shit. I come from a generation that it's like, I'll say whatever the fuck I want when I want, and if you don't like it, get the fuck out of my face, or don't hang around with me, or hang around me. But one way or another, I ain't being told what to say. Because, just because, well, you over there, I don't like the way he talks about women or whatever. Well, then don't talk to me. Get the fuck out of my face. It's the same as religious people. These woke people and these other kind of things are like, huh? The fuck? You know, you're as bad as the moral majority back in the 80s. We already fought this bullshit. So, you know, Reaganism and, you know, and then we get Mulrooney here and all this, you know, no, man. So fuck that. I mean, we're fighting censorship on 3 of the biggest communication things in the world, and they should be classified as common carriers. So people like Glenn Greenwald, sorry, should be treasured. And when he has to get up and do an entire hour about bullshit about people like Kalinske and these other stuff, I go to myself, well, what the fuck? And even he said himself, I find this a waste of my time. And it's like, yeah, brother, you know, it's too bad. But I mean, at least, you know, you got the reputation that, you know, and you're not owned by the Democrats or the Republicans, but you say what you say and you go where you go and you do what you got to fucking do. So that's a journalist to me. And Aaron Maté is the same fucking thing. And there's more. Those guys at the Gray Zone, there's a few there, and there's other ones. But I mean, these clowns at the Young Turks, uh-oh, I feel something banging on my chair. It's not Rocky the Raccoon, it's too early for him. 7 o'clock, but it's too bright. There's no way he's out. Rocky, okay, must be one of the squirrels. They're pissed because there's no seeds left, but they went through their seeds pretty quick today. So anyways, I'm not going to apologize for my language either, and I did say in this thing is I'm politically incorrect, but nor am I a racist. And like I said, I don't pick on right wing, left wing. I don't pick on people that are, you know, brain damaged, or, you know, in the old days we used to say mentally retarded. Now that has a connotation, but if you look at the 2 words separately, like George Carlin taught us, okay, there's no bad connotation about it. It was describing something. That's how we described it then. And it could still be described that way. Now, you can say brain damage. That's another way. Or you can say, you know, what's the one that they say now? I'm just tired of this shit. And you know, it's usually the right-wingers that are like freaked out about the politically incorrect and the wokeness and all that. But there's a lot of us people, you know, that are like not part of all that, and it's the same thing, man. And like, you know, St. Uger, if you think you're progressive, by the way, you know, I was doing progressive at 12 years old, real progressivism with my mom and dad and all the 60s generation. You don't know the meaning of the fucking word, okay? What you are is a Clintonian fucking Republican light, and you are the people that destroyed the real Democrats of FDR and John F. Kennedy and a few other presidents over the years. So, you know what? You know nothing about being progressive. Now people go, well, Glenn is right wing. Glenn is left wing. No, he's no fucking wing. And that's what I am too. What I am is class. I'm a working class. And I'm more worried about the working class. And I don't care if you're black, Mexican, whatever, mentally challenged, from another country, just moved here, whatever. We're all in the same fucking boat. And it's us versus the government and the fucking elites that own our government and are trying to own us. Well, they already own us, but it's got to be time in the fight back. And the biggest problem is in the U.S., of course. It's not like this everywhere around the world. Canada, I think that we slide in there simply because of our closeness to the U.S. Now, some of the bullshit that goes on down there does not happen up there. Our politicians, even our conservatives, our NDP, the liberals, they pretty much, you know, they do their thing, but, you know, they try to keep certain things at hand's length, you know, at arm's length, I guess they call that. So, yeah, I mean, I just, you know, fuck that. So, anyways, you YouTubers, including me, we're not that important, okay? Oh, you're all impressed you get 60,000 people watching a live show or whatever. That's 60,000 out of 350 million out of a population of 7 billion and counting around the world. Does anybody else do math? You think that you're that important? Kyle Kalinske, yeah, you're a big deal on this fucking podcast shit, but you're more about bitching and whining like most millennials I run across, and you're an empty suit. Sorry, millennials, but, you know, I get shit on because I'm a boomer, and nobody even asked me what my politics or anything. I'm no fucking Kevin or Kyle, you know, or Todd, or any of that bullshit. What I am is a Paul, first of all. Like George said, a Paulie, a Tony, and a Harry, and an Ed would beat the fuck out of Kyle, Todd, and Kevin. Well, no, Kevin's not bad, actually. But you know what I mean. Okay, it's all comedy. But I guess you actually have to smoke that or drink it or stay lit. So anyway, this is going to be a long voice in the wilderness. It's almost like a live podcast. I haven't really started to look at these live things yet. I need to do some practice. Supposedly this GoPro can do live camera, so we'll see. So getting back to our subject, which originally was Anna Kasparian, the wannabe Eastern stripper gangster, blackmails Jimmy Dore. So everybody, you know, stands up in righteous indignation and says what they got to say. But most of them are bullshit, and they're not supporting Jimmy, and they're not Jimmy's friends. And I'm not Jimmy's friend. What I am is a guy who watched Jimmy, listens to what he's got to say. Sometimes, most of the time, I agree with him, and I learn a lot of shit. So I'm just some guy out there that watches YouTube, and now I happen to do something similar, except that I do it my way, and I don't have, like, you know, studios and all that shit, because that's not real life to me. It is for what they do, but not the way I do shit. So I'm not judging, and I don't expect to be judged my way. I'll just do it whatever the fuck the way I want. And if you don't like it, then don't come here. That's all. So, and if you like it, well, then come here. So we're cool. I would tell you the same thing in real life. And that's the difference between a guy like Kyle Kulinski or Kolkinski or whatever. You know, he makes a threat. This pink-hand little dweeb. Like, buddy, who the fuck are you to make some kind of threat? Well, I'd punch them out if it said like that to my... Buddy, you ain't punching shit out, okay? You're not. You're just not. And your self-importance and your hubris, it's just stupid. And now you've finally been revealed to be what you truly are. And you know what? I'm going to start maybe calling out a few of these other idiots because, you know, they represent a world that isn't the majority of the planet. They really do not. This is this little insular group, like the DC bubble and that, you know, think that they know it all because they get 60,000 hits. You know, they think they're Joe Rogan or something. Joe Rogan makes a fucking difference, okay? Within a week, after he interviewed Bernie Sanders for the 2020 election, was that what it was? He had over 11 million hits on that one fucking video, or views, whatever they call it. 11 million. I have no idea what it is now, but I'll expect it's high. Now we're talking some numbers that are similar to CNN and all that shit, okay? Better numbers. But Joe, you know, he gets down in the dirt. He's a guy from the dirt as far as I'm concerned. And so he's talking to all sorts of people, left, right, middle, whatever. And he doesn't, he's like me and Jimmy and other, we don't, you know, he doesn't proclaim to be, he gets accused of being a right winger because, oh, well, I went on Joe, you know, Joe Scarborough. There's another fucking tit. Anyways, and MSNBC loves this guy. Does nobody remember Joe Scarborough the way he really was? The guy's a tit and a moral majority moron, and not to mention he's an asshole. So, and be mindful. I'm the kind of guy that if you walked up to me and if I called you an asshole online, I'll call you an asshole to your face. Okay, so keep that in mind. So, anyways, a lot of these little guys, oh, well, I'm sorry, you know, I like Kyle, mealy mouth. Well, you know, I agreed with Jimmy on this, and then, but I didn't agree with this, or then he just omits it. But that's mealy mouth. Just say what you got to say, kid. Stop acting like a little millennial empty suit, because that's what you are. Okay, and some of your friends that do these you know, little wannabe news CNN newsrooms, whatever. Okay, do it. But I mean, come on, man. You're not connected to real life. I'd love to see you go down into you know, hardcore places like what is it, East LA, East Detroit, you know, Chicago, and you go and hang with these people for a week or a month or whatever, and see what the real world's about, because that's the majority. The 20 million that go on Joe Rogan are probably mostly YouTubers, but not even that, okay, on one show. That's still lacking for the other 7 billion. So, and we say, well, 7 billion, America's only 350. Well, Americans, I hate to remind you, but YouTube goes around the world. And I've gotten people already that emailed me saying, oh, I like your stuff. And they're like from fucking Manchuria or whatever. It's like, you guys forget that. Well, I live in Canada and half Canadian, so I still have that worldview, whereas Americans, especially these Karens and Kyles and all that, they're very insular. Nothing happens. I'm finding that in the UFO community. Guy whines the other day saying, I don't know what's going to happen, with politics being as bad as it is. And I'm like, yeah, that's only in your country. Well, not only in your country, but my country here, which I consider myself Canadian first, because that's what I am, is we've got politics, but nothing on the scale of the American ones. There's lots of countries that don't have these political problems, okay? It's because your country has been bought and sold. And I'm sorry, my country too. I'm not happy. I got family all over the States. But until you folks wake up and put a stop to this, and it's not going to be done sitting in front of a YouTube channel listening to me or Jimmy Dore, you guys got to get out on the streets like we did in the 60s. I was 12 years old in 11 years old in 1974. And I can't remember. The war was still going on. So we were protesting that. And my dad's, we're down in, where the fuck were we? I think it was Ann Arbor, Michigan, the protest. And I went with my mom and dad and saw shit like that when I was a kid and carried a sign, So I'm not some guy on YouTube that, we stood up back then and I still do it. Now, I do it on YouTube because where do we go to protest here in Canada? Everything's 10 hours away. I mean, this is Canada. But if I certainly lived in the States, if I lived near Detroit or Washington, I remember the protests in the late 60s as a kid, the rice riots, all the rest of it. And most of it came for a good cause, but it got shit done. But I'm not saying, saying we should, people should go out and burn things down, but you can't be heard sitting watching Jimmy Dore or me or anybody else, or especially St. Huger and Anna Kasparian, you just don't. And so, I mean, it's good that you learn stuff from the people that are actually worth learning to. And, if that gets you off your chair and doing stuff, great. There's a lot of countries that, watches Jimmy Dore or people from different countries, but they don't have to do anything. Their country's doing just fine. And without America, without China, without Russia and all this shit, so you guys got to stop thinking like that. And you Americans, I mean, my God, speaking of idiots like St. Huger and MSNBC, Radio Mato with this Russian thing. No, man, it's just excuses for the Democrat bought-off people to blame all their ills on everyone else. And they'll fall back to that again next election. And if people keep buying this shit, you're just going to be living the same shit, but for fakeness. When it was the Soviet Union and they had all these countries and their troops were everywhere, okay, that was a badass country back then. Yeah, they could have nuked America into next year, or the vice versa, or the entire world. Russia ain't that country anymore. Okay, first of all, it ain't communist. It's a dictatorship or authoritarianship. Okay, but how is that our problem? If Putin and their people, they don't overthrow him or vote him out or whatever it is they do, they can't vote. You know what? That's not our problem. That's Russia's problem. You know what? America, same with China. That's their problem, what's going on there. And Syria, well, no. Yes, Syria. All these people. It's not your fucking problem, America. It's not our problem here in Canada either. Now, when you want to help people, that's different. That's what you do out of niceness. America, the so-called Christian evangelization nation. See how many of them actually donate only to themselves and their bank accounts, the elite evangelicals and all that. But no, America gives a lot of money to different countries, so does Canada. But I mean, for America to act as the world's policeman, we used to say this in the 60s. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing in Vietnam? Didn't we learn anything after Vietnam? Like, Jesus, Murphy. So, quit making Russia the bad guy. Yeah, they're bad guys, but so is Saudi Arabia and a whole bunch of other countries. Okay, yes, they have 7,000 nukes or whatever they have, but America can more than, if anybody launches nukes and that kind of thing, well, it's all over anyways. So I don't consider Russia a big threat, even with the nuclear. Because if it happens, it happens. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's more likely the Americans will do something stupid or some small country and then set off the big chain. But as everything else goes, no. Russia's got to feed their own people and all the rest of it. They're just, where does anybody think that Russians are going to be in this army, come flying into America and take over the country. How do you think that's going to happen? So you want to fight a war with some enemy that isn't really an enemy. We may not get along with them. We may not like them, what they do. But America's no better, by the way. Lots of terrorists right in America, and lots of American terrorism going on around the world, okay? So, but let's get back to the other thing. What's Russia going to do? They can nuke us. They can nuke us from their home. They don't need to come here. But what would be the point of Russia putting America to sleep? It would be to invade it, I would think. You know, get all of its toys, get all of its stuff. That's not going to happen. Okay? It simply isn't. And if you think that the Russian people are going to put up with this nonsense, no. And they're just as worried as we are. The Americans lighting off nukes, or China, North Korea, Iran, whoever else. Well, no, I suppose Iran hasn't got any. I don't consider Iran an enemy, by the way. So I know Iranians, and they're no enemy, I can tell you. America and the Democrats and CNN and everything have filled everybody's head full of bullshit. Same with Fox, MSNBC, and all of them. You have to go outside the country, and even then, BBC and them be very suspicious of what they're putting out there. But you have to go to other news to find out what's really going on. The gray zones are usually pretty good for that. You know, The Intercept used to be, but now they're bought and sold by the Democrats. Anyways, how many minutes? That's 21 minutes. So this has turned in kind of like, you know, one of those shows that people do for 2 hours, but it's not really a show. I'm just trying to think what else I'm pissed off. I just wanted to really kind of stay in this, you know, press thing, and Jimmy and this Kyle guy, you know, David Dooley, whatever. That guy doesn't speak for Canada, by the way, and his attitudes and things are not general Canada, okay? Because he's another one of these people that are out of touch. You know, little mummy's boy is what he is. And I don't know, I think he's a Winnipegger. Nothing wrong with Winnipeggers, but no. What he talks about, don't think that he speaks for Canadians in any way, shape, or form, or carries even the attitude of most Canadians. And I don't either, to be honest. But there are a lot of Canadians that are like me, you know, working class, you know, blue collar, you know, low income, middle income, whatever. Lots of people like me out there. But David Dooley or whatever, no, he's another Kyle Kalinske. And so, no, you know what? If you like that shit, knock yourself out. But if you want the truth and you want things, well, then there's other people that can do it. You know, I'm going to say what I got to say, because all of it is just my opinion. I'm not a news person. I'm just commenting, and I'm an opinion person. So I'll start saying that at the end of every one of my videos, okay? Because we're going to end this one. So thank you for coming and listening. And remember, I'm just commenting on things, an opinion on things that I look at it. If somebody wants to prove me wrong or whatever with logic and, you know, respectfulness, great, I will listen. But if not, you're just going to be a dumbass, well, I'm not even going to engage with you. I keep telling, you know, well, nobody's done it, but, you know, I'll tell you straight out, I'm just blocking you. I won't respond. I won't answer. Oh, I had a guy say something, I didn't know anything about the Canada Constitution. Hey, idiot. I was 18 years old when that was going through, and you weren't even born. And believe me, I know our Canada Constitution, and I know our laws. Being the type of person I used to be, believe me, I know all about laws now. Not a cop either, you know. But anyways, you know, so anyway, he's just blocked. I didn't respond to him. I responded to him secondly here, but I won't do that here either. I'm just giving you an example. Just block. Fuck off. You know what? I got no time for your bullshit. I'm going to argue with somebody that's logical. I don't care if you're left or right wing or center or whatever. Logic. And if you're spouting neoliberal values, that's not logic. If you're spewing fascist logic, fascist stuff, that's not logic. If you're spewing, I don't know, anarchy or whatever, that's not logic either. So, and like I say, I'm more of a libertarian socialist. You know, I have certain things that people should be. Anyway, we're supposed to end this. Never mind. We'll do that another time. So, anyways, please, you know, engage if you wish. And oh, I just wanted to mention on this channel too, my very first supporter, I was saying his name wrong, and it's Shamka 65, and I was saying Sham CA because I thought, well, maybe he's saying Sham and then Canada, but no, it's Shamka 65. So anyway, he's cool. We haven't really talked. I haven't had the time because his donation helped me put Filmora 10 back under service because the license ran out the other day. I was like, holy shit, I'm in the middle of everything too. So no, we're back and I'm going full tilt doing this. So anyways, he was a big help for that. So I appreciate everything he did, that he did there. And of course, he's my very first supporter. Like my mom and dad are at the top there. You see Marge and Bill Jones. My dad's long gone, but none of this would exist or whatever's going on if it wasn't for my parents. So yeah, they get the first credit. So that's enough of that. So yeah, you can check in the bottom in the description. There's a link to, and you can go to my other YouTube channels plus my social media channels. So if you want to go there. Also, always appreciate support. If anybody wants to support, you've got 4 channels of stuff that I'm doing, and because I don't work, I'm on a pension, and so, you know, UFO life, this one here, A Voice in the Wilderness, Cannabis Life, and Fishing Camp Life, which is here, of course. And so you get 4 channels. So hey, if you feel like supporting me, buymeacoffee.com/ladfromthewoods or paypal.com/ladfromthewoods. The links are in the description too. So anything helps, you know. Like I said, what I got from Shamka was just enough to put me over what I had saved to get what I had in my account to get my Filmora 10 put back on. And here I am. You know, I spent what, holy fuck, yesterday I spent like 18 hours straight 18 hours straight fucking editing, and I was listening to tunes and doing my Spotify. Oh, I'm doing it again. Fuck off, fucking lad from the Polly. Big Polly, whatever. I'm Big Paul, is what everybody calls me, or Polly, okay? But my name on this shit is Lad from the Woods because I'm a lad from the Ottawa Valley and I live in the fucking woods. So anyways, so yeah, please like, share, subscribe. Be careful, be safe out there. We are on the weekend, by the way, so I hope everybody's gonna have a good weekend. If you haven't got your backs, get her done, man, because that means we can sit down and drink and party and carry on, whatever. So we'll all be able to get back together, go to rock concerts, you know, the Who, the Stones, okay, all my old bands, young bands like Greta Van Fleet, you know, and hopefully AC/DC is going to do a tour on that new great album. Anyway, like I said, everybody have a good weekend. Be safe, be happy, and be cool. Oh, and like Roger Daltrey from The Who says, be lucky. Bye-bye.